Hello, and thank you for joining this Scomis webinar, which is all about cloud-based digital education platforms. I will be discussing how schools can unlock the potential of cloud technology and focusing on how schools can support pupils via remote learning tools, and ways in which cloud technology can also be used by school staff who may be required to teach off-site. In particular, we will be looking at the benefits, implementation and use of cloud-based teaching and learning solutions, such as Google's G Suite for Education and Microsoft's 365 for Education. We will cover the government-funded support available for schools who don't currently have a digital education platform configured for their pupils, and I will highlight ways in which schools can exploit cloud technology longer term. Many schools have successfully used cloud technology to reduce staff workload and improve collaboration whilst achieving long-term budget savings. Today's webinar is due to last approximately 40 minutes. At the end of the webinar, I will be sharing a link to a special newsletter article which contains further links and information. One of the reasons today's webinar is relevant is that the DfE has announced additional funding to assist schools during the current coronavirus pandemic. In particular, they are offering educational establishments funding to assist with the adoption of cloud-based teaching tools. The terminology the DfE used for a remote teaching and learning system is a digital education platform. I'll summarise the eligibility criteria for this funding later on in the webinar. Many of you will already be familiar with Microsoft 365 or Google's G Suite for Education. Both are cloud-based digital education platforms and use a classroom app, Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams. These classroom apps enable schools to manage and deliver lessons remotely. It can also help schools to communicate and collaborate in new and different ways. Reduced class sizes may mean that pupils will rotate between studying at school and at home or off-site for the foreseeable future. Secure conferencing and chat tools allow teacher and pupil dialogue and class discussions to continue outside of school premises. The benefits to schools of implementing a digital education platform will remain long after schools fully reopen. This webinar will showcase different types of cloud solution and demonstrate how their adoption can bring tangible benefits to all school stakeholders. The session's running order is as follows. I'll start by explaining what cloud computing is and mention some of the key benefits. I'll then explain the government funding available and outline eligibility criteria. Moving on to give a comparison of the two platforms which are funded under the DfE scheme. These are Google G Suite for Education and Microsoft 365 for Education. I'll then go on to describe why many schools link their learning platforms to their school's MIS system and signpost to free support and training resources that are available, before outlining the short and longer term benefits of schools embedding cloud technology and ways in which schools can build on their cloud foundations in the future. Finally, I will be outlining ways in which Scomis can help schools with their cloud journey. So let's start by looking at cloud computing. In simplest terms, cloud computing means storing and accessing data and programs over the internet, instead of locally on a school computer or school network. The cloud is really another term for the internet. The cloud is available anytime, anywhere, and from any device. You will see some pictures of cloud data centers on the screen. The physical data is stored on rows and rows of servers housed inside secure warehouse data centers. Easy access to cloud resources from any location via the internet provides a solid foundation for enabling online classrooms and collaboration. These solid foundations are vital for the successful delivery of remote teaching and learning. This represents a fundamental shift in the way that schools can access and pay for their IT provision. In a cloud environment, a third-party provider such as Microsoft or Google hosts all your data and software on their platform. This allows schools to easily scale up or down depending on their usage and adjust as the school or MAC grows. Schools no longer have to buy expensive on-premise servers or on-site data storage, which means electricity costs are reduced and space is freed up within the school buildings. With a cloud provider, there are reduced capital expenses, and customers only have to pay for the resources they use. Many cloud providers will provide free services for schools in the hope that today's learners will pay for cloud business services when they move into the workplace. The cloud provider manages and maintains their cloud infrastructure. This reduces the time spent by schools on maintaining their own systems, as the majority of time spent on installation and configuration is eliminated, and users are able to access their applications straight away. Moving to the cloud allows school IT staff to concentrate on the use of IT rather than day-to-day maintenance and firefighting. Going cloud means that schools can exploit the use of lower-cost internet-enabled devices, as the software runs on the cloud rather than on the device itself. This means that devices can be lower spec and therefore cheaper, as the processing is performed on the cloud platform rather than the device itself. Typically, Chromebook-type devices cost half the price of a traditional laptop. As the device is doing less work, the device consumes less power. In schools, it's common for teachers to find school laptops have dead batteries. Cloud devices use less power, so their batteries can easily last a whole school day. Typically, Chromebook devices will run for 12 hours on a full charge. They also start up within a few seconds, and there is no disruption or delays due to operating system updates. This means that vital teaching time is not lost waiting for devices to start or update. So hopefully that has highlighted some of the benefits that cloud computing brings. Now let's turn to looking at the benefits of a cloud-based digital education platform. A digital education platform is a space where pupils' learning can continue outside of school, as close to normal as possible. These platforms are designed specifically for the delivery of remote learning in an engaging and intuitive way that school websites and school email aren't. In these unprecedented circumstances, a digital education platform is the closest alternative to a real classroom setting. Pupils' access to technology has been an important factor affecting the extent to which they can learn effectively at home. Limited access to technology remains a significant barrier for many disadvantaged children. A key benefit of cloud-based platforms is that they can be accessed via a web browser on most type of device, such as computer, iPad, smartphone or Chromebook. This means that provisions of devices and internet can be targeted for disadvantaged pupils, as other pupils may already have access to a home device or smartphone. All pupils need is access to a device with a web browser and an internet connection. Microsoft Teams and Google Classroom allow pupils to work individually as well as collaborate with classmates and their teachers. On the next few slides, I'm going to show how easy it is for a teacher to set and mark assignments online. I'm going to walk through the process using Google Classroom, although the process using Microsoft Teams is very similar. This process will cover creating a class, adding students, assigning and grading work, and giving feedback to pupils.